A quiet Friday morning in central Tennessee was shattered by a massive explosion at an industrial facility. In this AI TV News Explainer, we break down what we know about the tragic event. The blast occurred on the morning of Friday, October 10, 2025, at approximately 7:45 a.m. Central Daylight Time. The site of the explosion was the Accurate Energetics Systems (AES) facility located in a rural part of Hickman County, about 60 miles southwest of Nashville, near a community called Bucksnort. The force of the explosion was immense, felt and heard by residents for miles around. Some home security cameras, as far as 20 miles away, captured the sound. Aerial footage taken after the incident revealed a scene of complete devastation. A building on the company's property was entirely destroyed, leaving only a smoldering field of debris and the burned-out shells of vehicles. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Avis, one of the first responders, described the scene as gone and called it one of the most devastating situations he has encountered in his career. Tragically, the explosion resulted in multiple fatalities. As of the afternoon of October 10th, officials reported that 19 people were unaccounted for and feared to have died in the blast. Sheriff Davis referred to the missing as 19 souls, emphasizing the deep sense of loss felt by the community. At least 4 to 5 other individuals were injured and evacuated to nearby hospitals for medical treatment. In the wake of the tragedy, community vigils were organized to honor the victims, and Accurate Energetic Systems set up a family assistance center to support those affected by the disaster. The facility at the center of this incident, Accurate Energetic Systems, or AES, specializes in the development, manufacturing, and storage of explosives and energetic materials. Founded in 1980, the company operates on a large 1,300-acre property with numerous buildings for production, testing, and storage. AES serves a wide range of clients, including the U.S. Department of Defense, aerospace companies, and industries like commercial demolition, mining, and oil and gas exploration. The products made at this facility include powerful high explosives such as TNT and C4, as well as various demolition charges. This is not the first time a deadly incident has occurred at an AES facility. In April 2014, an explosion at their plant in McEwen, Tennessee, resulted in the death of 1 person and injured 4 others. That explosion took place in an area where shotgun ammunition was stored. Following that incident, the company's safety record came under scrutiny. In 2019, the Tennessee Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or TOSHA, investigated the McEwen facility and issued serious citations for safety violations, which led to fines. These violations included exposing employees to dangerous chemicals like cyclonite, a highly explosive powder. Records indicate that while the company initially contested these findings, it eventually paid the penalties as part of a settlement. In response to this latest explosion, a multi-agency investigation has been launched. Local, state, and federal authorities, including the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, or ATF, and the Department of Homeland Security are all involved. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency has activated its State Emergency Operations Center to coordinate support for local authorities. The exact cause of the explosion is still unknown. The initial rescue and response efforts were complicated by smaller, secondary explosions at the site, making the work of first responders even more dangerous. TOSHA has opened a new investigation into this incident. Officials have cautioned that the investigation will be a slow and methodical process, likely taking days or even weeks to complete. For now, they have stated that there is no known ongoing threat to public safety. As the investigation unfolds, a community is left to grieve and search for answers. The focus remains on the families of the victims and the difficult task of recovery. We will continue to follow this story and provide updates as more information becomes available. She posted about Charlie Kirk's death. Within 8 hours, she was fired. That's what happened to Wynn Bolyak, a high school teacher in Greenville, South Carolina. Following the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on September 10, 2025, Bolyak went on social media and wrote, "Thoughts and prayers to his children, but in my humble opinion, America became greater today." By the end of the day, after the post was shared and sparked outrage, the school district confirmed she was no longer an employee. This teacher's story is not unique. In the weeks since Kirk's death, a wave of firings, suspensions, and investigations has swept across the United States, targeting educators and other public employees for what they posted online. This has ignited a fierce national debate, pitting the constitutional right to free speech against professional ethics and the responsibilities of public employment. The social media posts that led to these consequences were varied. Some, like Bolyak's, were seen as mocking or celebrating Kirk's death. In Tennessee, elementary school teacher Susanna O'Brien was fired after sharing posts created by others. One of the posts she shared stated, "Charlie Kirk spent his entire life disparaging immigrants, disrespecting women, and blaming black folks, only to get shot in one of the whitest places on earth." In other cases, the comments were more nuanced. A staffer at Ball State University was fired after posting on a private account that Kirk's death was a tragedy, but also a reflection of the violence, fear, and hatred he sowed. This isn't a story about a few isolated incidents. It's a nationwide phenomenon. The American Association of University Professors, or AAUP, reported that as many as 40 academics had been dismissed in the weeks following the assassination. In Texas, the state's education agency is investigating over 350 complaints against educators in 124 different school districts. Governor Greg Abbott publicly supported the investigations, stating that teachers who are detached from civility have no place in schools. This has led to resignations and firings across the state. How did these private posts become public firestorms so quickly? In many instances, the posts were discovered and amplified by conservative influencers and online accounts such as Libs of TikTok. These accounts would screenshot the posts, share them with their large followings, and tag the individual's employers, creating intense public pressure campaigns that often led to swift action by the institutions. Now, the battle is moving from social media to the courtroom. Many of the fired educators are filing federal lawsuits, arguing their First Amendment rights were violated. Their lawyers contend they were speaking as private citizens on personal social media accounts about a matter of public concern, the death of a major political figure. The core of their argument is that the government, which includes public schools and universities, cannot punish people for their political speech. Susanna O'Brien, the Tennessee teacher, filed a lawsuit on October 8th seeking her job back. Her complaint argues that she was posting as a private citizen on a friends-only Facebook page, that her posts caused no disruption at school, and that it was her firing, not the posts themselves, that actually drew attention and disrupted the school community. On the other side of the argument, school districts and universities defend their actions. They point to employee social media policies and codes of conduct, arguing that celebrating or making light of violence is unprofessional and fails to model the values they are supposed to instill in students. Legally, their defense often rests on the concept of disruption. While public employees do have free speech rights, those rights can be limited if their speech is found to materially and substantially interfere with the operation of the workplace. Texas Education Commissioner Mike Morath stated that while free speech is a fundamental right, it does not give carte blanche authority to celebrate or sow violence. Employers argue that these posts damage public trust and disrupt the educational environment. Advocacy groups like the AAUP have warned that these firings are creating a climate of fear in schools and on college campuses. They argue this is causing a chilling effect where educators self-censor their personal opinions out of fear of becoming the next target of an online outrage campaign and losing their livelihood. The AAUP has also criticized the rush to judgment, reminding universities that faculty are entitled to due process and hearings before being disciplined. The death of Charlie Kirk has thus triggered a secondary crisis, one that tests the boundaries of free speech in the digital age. The outcomes of the dozens of lawsuits now underway will have significant implications, potentially setting new legal precedents for the rights of millions of public employees across the country. These cases highlight the blurred lines between personal expression and professional responsibility, and the immense power of social media to turn private thoughts into public trials.
Welcome to AI TV News. Imagine opening a bill for something you rely on every day only to find the price has suddenly skyrocketed, becoming more expensive than your mortgage. For millions of Americans, this isn't a hypothetical. It's the reality they are now facing with their health insurance. People are receiving renewal notices for the upcoming year, and many are in for a shock. For one couple, their monthly insurance payment is set to jump by almost $2,000. Today, we'll explain why this is happening, who it affects, and what it means for the country. This story begins with the Affordable Care Act, often called Obamacare. The ACA created online marketplaces where people who don't get insurance from an employer can buy it themselves. To make these plans affordable, the law included financial help from the government, known as subsidies or premium tax credits. Think of it as a discount on your monthly insurance bill. In 2021, the American Rescue Plan, later extended by the Inflation Reduction Act, made this financial help even more generous. These enhanced subsidies did two crucial things. First, they increased the discount for people who were already eligible. Second, and most importantly, they removed an income limit that had previously cut off assistance from many middle-income families. For the first time, individuals and families who earned more but still found insurance unaffordable could get help if their premium costs were more than 8.5% of their income. The effect was dramatic. Enrollment in ACA marketplace plans more than doubled, jumping from about 11 million people in 2020 to over 24 million in 2025. But there's a catch. The law that created these enhanced subsidies is set to expire on December 31st, 2025. And that brings us to the sticker shock people are experiencing right now. With the expiration date looming, insurance companies have to set their prices for 2026 based on the current law, which says the extra help will disappear. The result is a massive price hike for millions. Consider a couple in Idaho, currently paying just $50 a month. Without the subsidies, their premium could jump to over $2,200. In Virginia, another couple could see their monthly payment increase by nearly $1,300.
And a 60-year-old couple in Sacramento, California, earning a middle-class income of about $83,000 a year, could face an annual premium increase of more than $23,000. For many, the new cost of health insurance could be more than their monthly house payment.
So why not just extend the subsidies? The answer lies in a political standoff in Washington. As of October 2025, the federal government is in a shutdown, and these health insurance subsidies are a major reason why. Democrats are refusing to approve a government funding bill unless it includes an extension of the enhanced ACA subsidies. They argue that letting them expire will create a crisis for millions of families. On the other side, many Republicans argue that the subsidies should be debated separately from the bill to fund the government. Some also point to the high cost of an extension, estimated to be nearly $500 billion over 10 years, and argue the subsidies were always meant to be a temporary measure during the pandemic. Because of this stalemate, nothing is being done. And with open enrollment for 2026 plans starting on November 1st, the renewal notices with the massive price hikes are already going out. The consequences of this inaction could be widespread. The Congressional Budget Office estimates that if the subsidies expire, about 4 million more Americans will become uninsured over the next decade. Many will face an impossible choice between paying for health coverage and paying for other essentials like rent or food. There's also a ripple effect that could make insurance more expensive for everyone. Insurers anticipate that when prices spike, it will be the healthier people who decide to drop their coverage first. This leaves a smaller, sicker, and more expensive group of people in the insurance pool. That, in turn, drives up the underlying cost of insurance for everyone who buys their own plan, even those who don't receive a subsidy. This increases the use of expensive emergency room services, and those costs are often passed on to everyone else through higher hospital bills and insurance premiums. From the perspective of the families facing these increases, they played by the rules and are now facing a financial crisis through no fault of their own. For insurance companies, they are caught in the middle of political uncertainty, forced by law to be the bearers of bad news. In summary, millions of Americans are on the edge of a financial cliff, facing the loss of affordable health coverage. The solution is currently tangled in a high-stakes political battle in Washington. As renewal notices continue to land in mailboxes, this abstract debate over policy and budgets is becoming a very real and urgent kitchen table issue for families across the country.